Chapter 8. Conversation between Padmavati and Shukdev. Lord Kalki goes to Sri Lanka. Sutta Goswami said, after hearing these instructions from the mouth of Padmavati, Shukdev, who is honored by all saintly persons, who is very sober, and who is a representative of Lord Kalki, said, O Padmavati, kindly describe the various limbs of Lord Hari's worship. I will perform them as I travel throughout the three worlds. Padmavati said, a devotee who is well versed in the chanting of the mantras should meditate on Lord Hari as I have described, beginning from his lotus feet and gradually rising to his head, while accepting him as the Lord of the universe and the supersoul of all living beings. Thereafter, he should faithfully chant the Mula mantra. A pious devotee should fall flat onto the ground and offer his obeisances to the Lord after chanting the Mula mantra. He should then offer the remnants of Lord Vishnu's food to his associates, and after doing so, perform Sankirtan by chanting and dancing, all while perceiving the all-pervading Lord within his heart. Thereafter, the devotee should touch the remnants of the Lord's flower garland to his head, and then honor his remnants of food. This is the proper way to worship the Lord of Lakshmi. By worshipping the Supreme Lord in this way, a materialistic devotee will have all of his desires fulfilled, and an unalloyed devotee will attain liberation from material existence. Such worship is very pleasing to the demigods, human beings, and Gandharvas. Shukdev said, O chaste one, I have heard with full attention your description of the characteristics of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Now, by your mercy, I will be able to free myself from all sinful reactions, even though I'm not a great devotee. I now see you as a golden deity decorated with jeweled ornaments and full of life. By seeing your form, which is very rarely visible to the three worlds, I am convinced that you are none other than Lord Lakshmi herself. I cannot think of any woman whose beauty, characteristics, and personality are equal to yours. For this reason, it would be very difficult to find a suitable husband for you within the three worlds. And yet, I have found a suitable match for you across the sea. He is all-attractive, extraordinarily qualified, and non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While gazing upon his enchanting body, one cannot imagine that it has been made by the Creator. After lengthy deliberation, I have concluded that he is directly the Supreme Lord Hari. I feel within the core of my heart that I have seen the supremely powerful Lord Hari, upon whom you always meditate. I do not find any difference between his form and the form of Lord Hari. Padmavati said, O parrot, please tell me, where is his place of birth? If you know more about him, then tell me what he has accomplished in his life. O bird, why are you sitting atop of this tree? Please come down and sit next to me. I will treat you with utmost respect, so do not be afraid. Come and have some sweet juicy fruit that I brought, and drink some pure water. Alas, how beautiful is your beak, so bright, and redder than a ruby. I would be happy to plate your beak with gold. Indeed, I will decorate your neck with a sunstone set in a gold locket. I will cover your wings with pearls and decorate your whole body with marks of fragrant kumkum. Thus, anyone who sees you will become very pleased. I will decorate your tail with a strand of precious jewels. When you fly through the sky, this strand of jewels will make an enchanting sound. I will decorate your feet with ornaments so that when you walk, there will be a beautiful sound of tinkling bells. My distress has dissipated by hearing your nectarian words. Now, kindly instruct me. What can I do for you? I and my companions are prepared to do whatever task. Upon hearing these words of Padmavati, Shukdev descended from the treetop and spoke as follows. The parrot said, "The supremely merciful Lord of Lakshmi has already made his advent at the house of a great Brahmana named Vyas in the village of Shambhala. He has appeared to re-establish the principles of religion, having been requested to do so by his exalted devotees. He is residing with his brothers and other relatives. After his sacred thread ceremony, he went to the ashram of Parashuram of the Bhrigu dynasty, where he mastered the Vedas. He also mastered the arts of discharging arrows and music. He received a sword, horse, parrot, and a shield from Mahadev as a benediction. Thereafter, he returned home to Shambhala and began helping the king, Vishakayupa, protect religious principles and destroy those who practice irreligion." After hearing this from Shukdev, Padmavati's happiness knew no bounds. Her lotus-like face brightened, and she immediately sent Shukdev to bring Lord Kalki. She decorated Shukdev with golden ornaments and spoke to him with folded hands. Padmavati said, "O parrot, you know the request that I will make of you. What more can I say? If the Lord refuses to come here, fearing that he might also turn into a woman, then simply convey my obeisances to him and describe everything that has happened as a result of my past misdeeds. Also, inform him of how the benediction that Lord Shiva awarded me has now become a curse. The benediction I received from Lord Shiva was that any male who looked at me with lust would immediately turn into a woman." After hearing these statements of Padmavati, Shukdev pacified her and repeatedly offered his obeisances. After giving her sufficient assurances, he flew into the sky and within a short time arrived at the village of Shambhala, which was protected by Lord Kalki. When Lord Kalki, the destroyer of demons, heard the news of Shukdev's arrival, he became jubilant. When they met, Lord Kalki placed Shukdev upon his lap and thus saw his entire body was decorated with golden ornaments. The all-powerful Lord Kalki caressed Shukdev's body with his left palm and offered him some water to drink. Indeed, the Lord almost touched Shukdev's lips with his own as he said, "My dear Shukdev, where have you been during your travels? Where are you coming from just now? What are the wonderful things that you have seen? What were you doing for such a long time? How did you get these jeweled ornaments? I have been longing to meet you throughout the days and nights. Indeed, even a moment of separation from you seemed to me more than a yug." When the magnanimous Shukdev heard these words of Lord Kalki, he repeatedly offered his obeisances and then began speaking, telling everything about his meeting with Padmavati. He described their conversation and told the story of how she had given him the jeweled ornaments. After hearing everything about Padmavati from Shukdev, Lord Kalki became very attached to her. And without further delay, the Lord mounted the horse that was given to him by Lord Shiva and happily departed for Sri Lanka. This island was situated far across the ocean and thus surrounded by water on all sides. It was thickly populated. Many airplanes were seen there, and it shone with splendor of countless jewels and gold. The city was decorated with many palaces and massive gates. On top of the gates and palaces were placed colorful flags that increased the beauty of the island. There were assembly houses, raised platforms, memorials, domed buildings, and concrete roads. Indeed, there was no end to the beauty of this magnificent city. Soon after Lord Kalki's arrival at Sri Lanka, he gazed upon the city, which was known as Karumati. This city was adorned with a nice lake filled with lotus flowers. The water of this lake was never still. The water of the lake was never still due to the swans that were always swimming here and there. Swarms of humming bees came from the nearby forests to drink the honey of the lotus flowers. Many swans, cranes, and other aquatic birds that were swimming in the lake created a very pleasant sound. The cooling breezes skimming across the waves of the lake gave pleasure to the trees and plants growing on the shore. The forests surrounding the lake contained many varieties of trees. While walking in the forest, Lord Kalki became jubilant by seeing its beauty. With great affection, he said, "My dear Sukhdev, I want to bathe at this place." Understanding the Lord's intention, Sukhdev humbly said, "My dear Lord, permit me to go and meet Padmavati." Thus, Sukhdev came before Padmavati and informed her of Lord Kalki's arrival. Thus ends the translation of the 8th chapter of Shri Kalki Puran. Hare Krishna.